Welcome to Rock the Boat, your one-stop shop for all things cruise. Now, we help a lot of first-time cruisers go on their first-time cruise. So we thought it'd be a good idea to put together a list of some of the questions that first-time cruisers usually have, but also the ones that maybe they forget to ask as well. So starting off with the one that I think we probably get asked probably the most, and that is, can you drink the water on a cruise ship? So it's quite a basic question, and of course, you do need to have water. You can't just survive off of all those cocktails, unfortunately. So basically, if you're going on any of the major cruise lines, yes, you can drink the water from your cabin if you really want to, and there usually are water fountains available around the ship. Now, of course, you can always get water at the restaurants. You can ask at the bars and things like that. And that should always be free and included as part of your cruise fare. Now, for example, on Virgin Voyages, they have these really cool water stations that they use UV light to filter them. So it's like having bottled water. Now, they don't want to be selling plastics on board. So with Virgin Voyages, they want you to bring along a reusable bottle and then just fill it up. So that's what I did when I went on my Virgin voyage. Is I used my handy refillable bottle, went up on deck, went and filled up my bottle, and there's other ones around as well, but I always went up to the one on deck to go get the sunshine at the same time, and it was a UV filtered water that I had. Now, you can buy bottles of water, and it depends on which cruise line you're with, and it also depends on your package. So, for example, some of the packages, if you buy a drinks package, then you'll get bottled water included in that drinks package as well. So it's quite handy if you're going off the ship for the day and going into port. Fantastic. You can just take the bottle of water with you and then take it ashore. So really handy kind of thing to do. Basically, the price differs between whether it is going to be one of the sort of like the higher kind of branded ones or just like a generic kind of bottle of water. So you'll always be able to get bottles of water. It's whether you're going to be paying for it, whether it's going to be part of your package. But speak to your cruise advisor at Rock the Boat Travel Agents, and we'll be able to help you and let you know whether bottled water is included as part of your package. Now, personally, I like to take along the little mini Robinson squash and then put those into the water as well, because then it makes a nice refreshing drink that you're not having to basically pay for, even if you're on a drinks package. I kind of find that I can't drink that much soda. So, for example, when I went on Disney cruise, all the sort of soda, soft drinks, or Coca-Cola products are included, which is fantastic. But I can't drink that much Coke Zero. I can't drink that much of the ginger beer and that kind of stuff, which is really nice. But there is obviously a limit to how much you can drink of it. And yes, you are on holiday, but at some point you do want to sort of cut back. Whereas with the squash, nice flavour, nice and easy as well. You can just put in your pocket. Useful for when you're going ashore as well. So the second question that I think quite a lot of people ask or sort of think about asking is, do I need to get dressed up every single night? Do I need to kind of wear a tuxedo to wander around the ship? And I think a lot of first-time cruisers have seen Titanic, and they think that they have to do the best penguin impression on board the cruise ship every evening, or just to wander around and things. But actually, there's a lot of cruise lines where there is no sort of strict dress code. So, for example, on Norwegian Cruise Line, they don't have formal lights, and they don't have such a strict sort of dress code. There's a few restaurants that sort of men might need to wear sort of long trousers, but apart from that, as long as you're not already going in swim costumes and you're wearing appropriate kind of clothing, as in all the bits are kind of covered, then you don't need to dress up in a tuxedo or anything like that. If you go on some of the other cruise lines, like, for example, Cunard, they can't force you to dress up. But if you wanted to go on sort of a formal night and you wanted to go to one of the sort of certain restaurants and certain bars, then you will need to be dressed up to be able to go into those. But for example, if you just wanted to head up to the buffet, they can't make you wear a tuxedo to walk around the buffet. Now, again, if you speak to one of the cruise advisors here at Rock the Boat Travel, we'll be able to tell you whether you're going to need a tuxedo or an evening dress whilst you're on board. as that, so you can see whether you need to do your best James Bond or Lady Diana kind of impression. Something that a lot of people don't think about is the cruise card. So your cruise card is basically your window to the world. It's everything. It's your key card. It gets you on and off the ship. If you don't have that, you ain't getting on and off the ship. They're going to have to sort of try and find you. And also, it's a way of charging things back to your cabin as well. So if you've got a drinks package, it lets the bar staff know that you've got a drinks package. If you've paid for specialty dining, if you want to buy something in the shops or buy something at the bar where you don't have a drinks package, it charges it all back to the cabin. So it is a plastic card, a bit like on most cruise ships, a bit like sort of a credit card. So it can be a bit sort of a hassle as to where to kind of put it. So on some cruise lines, you see quite a lot of people wearing lanyards. I don't particularly like things around my neck, and I find those a bit sort of irritating around my neck, so I just tend to sort of put it in my pocket. Now, a little tip with this is make sure, I'm a bit paranoid when I leave places, so make sure I've always got keys with me, is when you get into your cabin or stateroom, put your cruise card somewhere close to the door or somewhere where you're going to see it before you leave for going out again. That way you can't forget it. Now, it's not like if you forget your key for your house, if you forget it, you just go to the front desk, to the reception, and say, I've forgotten it. I've locked it inside. Can either someone come and let me in, or can you give me a new one, please? So it's really not the end of the world. But what a lot of people like to do is to get the lanyards, especially for kids as well. They wear the lanyards. Now, Virgin Voyages have done away with cruise cards, and you've got the band instead. So the band is a bit like what you would get when you go to a rock festival. So I went to V-Fest one year, and you get a band sort of gets you in everywhere, sort of show that you've got a ticket. And they've taken this to the next level. So on the band, it is your everything. It's your key to get into your cruise cabin. It's all your drinks, the bar tab, all that kind of stuff. Gets you on and off the ship. And also, because it uses Bluetooth technology, if you've got the app installed in your phone, which you will do on Virgin Voyages, you can order room service or ship eats, as they call it, to anywhere on the ship pretty much. So if you're up by the pool and you fancy a nice charcuterie plate, or you want some meatballs are really good on Virgin Voyages, then you can just use your app, and then the band knows where you are on the ships, and they basically come and find you. You can also shake for champagne as well, so you can shake anywhere on the ship, and they will come find you with a glass of champagne or a bottle of champagne, half bottle of champagne, whatever you order. So that's pretty cool as well, isn't it? Okay. Next one is when people are looking at the cruise before kind of booking is they think, okay, do I need a balcony? Do I need a balcony to really enjoy my cruise? Now, me personally, I live somewhere that's got shutters on the windows, and so I sleep in complete darkness when I'm at home. So when I'm on a cruise ship, generally I will take an inside cabin, unless it's not that much more to take a balcony cabin. Reason being is it's dark inside, so I can go to sleep. I don't want to be woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning with the sunshine and things like that. That's also really good, for example, if you've got younger kids that sleep in the dark at home. Now, the argument for having a balcony is that if you have a balcony and you've got younger kids that are going to go to bed earlier, you can then go and sit out on the balcony whilst the kids are asleep. So that's great. Although they might go to bed after you, depends how tired you are, depends how many drinks you've had with your dinner as well. So it's one of those things that speak to your cruise expert at Rock the Boat Travel, and we will sort of chat with you and find out if you really kind of need a balcony or not. Now, doesn't mean that if you don't have a balcony that you're not going to see any of these spectacular views, because all you just do is when you're sailing, for example, in the Norwegian fjords, go up on deck, and there's plenty of bars and things like that you can sit in, even if the weather's not that great, to sit there and look out and just admire the view. It's just that obviously you've got slightly less privacy than if you have your own balcony, but the prices on some ships, people generally think that, especially first-time cruisers, that what the price for an inside cabin is automatically X amount more to jump up to, say, a balcony, to then jump up to something else. That's not true. Each category has its own pricing band, and there's various prices in between those bands. They're not linked. So when they first go on sale, there will be a difference, but it's not a fixed £50 per night extra to have a balcony. It doesn't work like that. There are some times when actually, if they've pretty much sold out of all the inside cabins, and they haven't sold particularly many of the balcony cabins, actually it can be hardly anything, sort of a couple of pounds to upgrade to balcony cabins. So it is always worth looking. And of course, at Rock Boat, we will check to find out how much extra it will be to have one, but don't feel that you have to have a balcony. So now, very 21st century problem is trying to keep in contact with people that you're on the ship with. So, for example, if you're staying with friends and family and you want to get in touch with them, or maybe just people that you've met whilst you're on board, how do you keep in contact with them? Now, if you're on a ship that gives you unlimited Wi-Fi, like Virgin Voyages, there's no problems at all. WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, all the kind of things that you would use at home, just use those, no problems at all. Now, if you're on a ship where you have to pay for Wi-Fi, and you might have, say, a Wi-Fi package that gives you, say, 150 minutes. Do you really want to be wasting those minutes using them on WhatsApp when you kind of could be using them for other things? So that's where maybe we go a bit more old school. Just pick up the phone. Every cabin has a phone inside it. Just pick up the phone and ring through to the number if those people are obviously in their cabins. If not, well, try writing a note and putting it underneath the door. That's a way of doing it. Or what you could do is, for example, if you've all met up for breakfast, is arrange a time there and then. So when you had your breakfast, you say, okay, we'll meet back here at 10 o'clock. We'll do this at whatever time. And you arrange a time there and then, as opposed to having to mess around, sort of arranging something later on. Now, some families on the bigger kind of ships, they even use walkie-talkies. So if you've got walkie-talkies, bring those along, sort of keep hold of the kids. But to be honest, I think a lot of people overthink the fact of trying to keep in contact with people whilst we're on the ship. You will be able to keep in contact with people, even if you have to kind of go a bit old school with that. Now, something we hear quite a lot, and it always makes me laugh because I always think, well, wherever you've ever been on holiday, this doesn't actually get included, but do I need to bring a towel on board a cruise ship? Now, I'll give you an example. Even travel lodges, Premier Inns, basic kind of hotels include towels when you're staying there. So you do not need to bring a towel on a cruise ship. If you're going on a 2-week cruise around the Mediterranean, around the Caribbean, they will have towels on board. Don't worry about that. The cabin crew will come in to come and change the towels if you want to. Like sort of all places, I prefer you to sort of just to change them every sort of couple of days, sort of save the water and the environment, things like that. Usually on board a cruise ship, what will happen is you either get pool towels. They're usually a different color or a different sort of design, and you'll get those either in the cabin itself or up on the pool deck. With some of them, what you'll do is you'll sort of sign them in and out. So, for example, on Virgin Voyages, you go up and you give them your cabin number, then you sign it out. And then when you drop it back off, you basically have signed to say, digitally anyway, to say that you brought it back. So it just means that you're not stealing the towels. So for most of the cruise lines, you can take them off. So if you go into a beach destination, what's one of your ports, and you just want to go and chill out, relax at a beach, then just double check when you pick up the pool towel, but most of them will let you take them off the ship. So there's no need to smuggle it off or hide it away, but most people sort of put them in the bags anyway, sort of keep them out of the way. If you will go into somewhere that has its own private island, say, for example, Disney's Castaway Cay, or you've got NCL or Royal Caribbean, they've all got their own private islands. They have the towels already ashore for you, so there's no need to bring them ashore with you. So it's one less thing to carry with you. Okay. If you're going on a slightly longer cruise, or a bit of a more sort of modern kind of phenomenon, if you're kind of going out of sort of around the Mediterranean, Barcelona, places like that, a lot of people, because it's quite expensive to put a bag into the hold on a plane, a lot of people just bring hand luggage. So, for example, if you're flying with British Airways to Barcelona, you can take 2 pieces of hand luggage. And if you're going around the Mediterranean and you're going on a not particularly formal cruise, you might actually kind of get away with it. Last time I went on a cruise around the Mediterranean, we just took hand luggage and it was enough to kind of go around. So, but people could have asked, well, is there anywhere that I can actually wash my clothes? Because one, accidents do happen. We'll ask what you've done to mess up your clothes. But also, if you're going on a longer cruise, it means that you can take less luggage with you and you can wear the same things a couple of times. Now, all cruise lines will come and pick it up from your cabin and they will do your laundry for you and then bring it back to the cabin for you, nicely folded and pressed. It looks lovely, looks a lot better than what I can do at home. Obviously, they charge for this, okay? Now, what you can do instead is most of the cruise lines, again, will have a laundry facility, self-service. So it'd be like a little laundrette. It's a bit like EastEnders that you go in and you go and put your laundry on, then you can put them in the tumble dryers afterwards. There usually is a small charge, but it's cheaper than getting your kind of clothes laundered. What you could do, and what some people do, is all the pretty much all the bathrooms have got like a line that goes across. So it's like a drawstring once you can pull it out. And you just pull it across. So you can actually, if it's just like a bit of a damp wash, you just want to sort of like rinse something, you can just rinse something in the sink in your cabin and then just hang it up over the shower and sort of drip dry it there if you need to. Sort of, if it's just, just got a bit of ketchup down something, then that's fine. Number 8 is if you're a big eater or a bit of a fussy eater, or you just want a bit more. Can you have more? Well, yeah, there's no need to do your best Oliver impression on a cruise ship. You can have as much as you like. You can get creative with your meals. Well, try ordering 2 main courses or mix up the portions of the starters, or ordering just stuff for the table as well. We've done that quite a few times before, is we've ordered stuff for ourselves and then extra stuff for the table that we can all sort of dive in and try. If you ever sort of see any of our photos on social media, a lot of them are lots of plates, considering that may only be sort of 2 or 3 people at the table, and yet there's 5 plates of food that have been brought over. So yes, you can order pretty much as you want, as long as you're not going to waste the food. Then you're absolutely fine. Speak to your server and just ask them, and I'm sure they'll be absolutely fine to do that. If you want to kind of mix them up, so for example, if you wanted to have a steak, but the steak normally comes with chips, but there's something else that you like as a side that's on a different thing, just ask them. And 9 times out of 10, they'll swap over and add on the other thing instead. So don't feel that you have to just stick with what's on the menu. Mix and match, get creative, do whatever you want. There's plenty of food on board that ship, and just do whatever you want. And if you want to go to a buffet, it's obviously you can eat as much as you want up there as well. And the last question is, do I actually need to go ashore when we're in a port? And the big answer to this is no. It's your holiday. You do whatever you want. If you want to stay on board, go and explore the ship, absolutely fine. When I went on my Disney cruise, when we were in one of the ports, it's somewhere that I've been to quite a few times, so I stayed on board, sat in the jacuzzi outside, and sat there and watched Beauty and the Beast up on the funnel vision. I've done it before as well. We were on Virgin Voyages, didn't bother getting off in one of the ports, just went around the ship, went and explored, went to go and see all the things that might be a little bit busy normally when you're on board the ship. So maybe like the slides in the water park, if you're on a ship that's got one of those, then it's a great way of getting the most out of the ship without having all of those extra people on board, because most people will get off at ports. Now, generally, if you're a first-time cruiser, the ports are the most important thing, and then the ship itself kind of like comes second. But more seasoned cruisers, the ship is more important than the ports. Now, one thing to remember with the ports is you're not always guaranteed to dock. If there's strong winds, for example, if there's a storm going on, then they might not dock. Okay, I've had it a few times before when we just haven't been able to dock. So, yes, look at the places you go into, but at the same time, you need to allow for, if I don't go into this particular port, am I still going to be having an amazing holiday on board the ship? And the answer is usually probably yes or yes. Okay. Little bonus one is, do I need to worry about icebergs on the ship? The only icebergs you need to worry about are iceberg lettuces. Seriously, we've been asked this question before, and things have changed a little bit since Jack and Rose set sail on the Titanic. Cruise ships have the latest technology that they can spot icebergs and other ships and everything that you can kind of think of, any kind of potential danger from hundreds of miles away. So there's absolutely no danger. Well, there they're running into an iceberg. So put that to the back of your mind. Okay. Now, if we've whetted your appetite to go on a cruise, please get in touch with us at rocktheboat.travel. That's rocktheboat, all one word, .travel, and one of the team will be happy to get in touch with you, and we can see what we can do to help you get onto your first, second, or 100th cruise, depending on who you are. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and if you did get any advice out of this, please leave us a review or a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next sailing.